Today's video is brought to you in large part by my amazing patrons. I really appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed this week's video and would like to contribute, visit patreon.com/MindofAK and sign up today. Tiers start at $3 and all support goes directly towards the growth of the channel. I love you all and thank you so much in advance, and I truly hope you enjoyed today's video. Cue the intro. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, MindofAK. If you're not sure who I am, my name is AK Wright. I'm a writing sculptor, sculpting writer, or whatevs. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I apologize for all of you. I took the holiday off last week to be with friends and loved ones, but I'm back this week, and we're back in Gravity Falls. Now, if you missed my last video, I made this awesome thing right here. I made the main antagonist of the show, Bill Cipher, and I made 3 versions of him. I did Normal Bill, Mad Bill. I'm just gonna say it's Galactic Bill. I don't think it really has a name. Anyway, this week I busted out my thinking cap to make this guy from the show. I know you're probably wondering who he is. You haven't seen him before, but there's a reason you haven't. What I would like to see though, if you could hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and set bell notifications for future updates. But I also want you guys to have fun with me this week. So let's just get right into it. Alright, you know the first step of every project is all of my prep work. Now I did a lot of this off screen already. So I did my ultralight, I did the wiring, all of that's already set. Also, a little spoiler alert, I actually started making this guy at the same time I did Bill Cipher. So let's go ahead and just get into the eyes, and while I'm doing the eyes, let me go ahead and do a much better job of discussing the show with you, because I didn't discuss it at all last week. So let's do that now. So Gravity Falls, it was created by Alex Hirsch, and it centers around the summer adventures of main characters Dipper and Mabel, who are sent to their Grunkle Stan in the summer, and they hang out at the Mystery Shack with their new friend Seuss. During the first episode, Dipper locates a mysterious journal inside of a tree, and it outlines weird and strange encounters throughout the town, and it starts this amazing 2-season journey that actually holds the fate of the entire universe in the balance. It is such a great show. I can't talk about it enough. I'm going to talk about it more in length here near the end of the video. But if you're a fan of Rick and Morty, if you are a fan of an old show, Weird Indiana, any of the Goosebump books, this show will give you high-end themes and comparisons to those. And I don't want to do a direct comparison, but it's such a great show. I had a lot of fun watching it. Admittedly, I was not on the bandwagon when it first came out. I really wish I was, but this show has been recommended to me for several years. I finally took the leap, watched it, and I am on my 4th time watching the series. I have not done this with many other shows. I've done it with X-Files, I've done it with Fringe, not Friends, Fringe, in the past. This show is right up there. Now, get back into the sculpture. As you can see, my piece is out the oven. Now it's time to sculpt. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the episode that this character is based on, because you're probably wondering who this guy is. So the character is the Cheapskate. I'll have a little bit more here on this in a second, but basically he is a character that you never see visibly on the show, but he was a very small part of one of my favorite episodes on the show, Little Gift Shop of Horrors. It came in season 2, episode 6. I'll have more on it here in a second, but basically this guy he's now held hostage in the store. He should have just bought something from Grunkle Stan and he didn't. Before I get into that though, I want to touch on this one piece here. So every video that I do from now on the channel, I want to try to push my limits, for lack of a better phrase. This week I wanted to make a glass display for this character to be in. So these are plastic sheets that I made. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of me making it, but as a side option, I do show how I make the lid, which is essentially the same process. I measured it, I get my trusty blade, I cut it, and guys, for those of you who know me personally, know I'm scared to death of resin. I got to use UV resin and it worked. I didn't have any issues this time. Not to say I won't have issues in the future, but I got a Blacklight and I got this really, really amazing UV resin. I got them both on Amazon. I'll have my non-affiliated links in the comments if you want to get it. But as you can see in the video, I put my UV resin on. I do the same exact thing with the actual shape of the full sculpture. I put it on and I put the Blacklight on. Worked swimmingly, as the kids say. So to get back into this character, the Cheapskate, the way the episode works, it's non-canon. So even if you've never watched the show, you can just jump right to this episode and enjoy it. And it's actually a great way to introduce you to the main characters of the show, especially Grunkle Stan, Dipper, Mabel, and Seuss. But what happens is a lonely traveler, who I'm pretty sure just got lost and needed directions, shows up at the Mystery Shack one night. And the entire episode is Grunkle Stan telling 3 stories that are non-canonical. Again, I just want to stress that, meaning they don't go with the linear plot of the show. After the 3rd story is told, the poor guy doesn't buy anything. And something happens on the show that I'm actually shocked. It not only made it into a kid's show, but it made it into a Disney show. Grunkle Stan gives this guy a quote-unquote sample of a green beverage. Basically, he drugs the guy, says something to the effect of, "You should have bought some merchandise, kid." Then the poor guy passes out and wakes up as the legendary Cheapskate and is now a display in Grunkle Stan's Mystery Shack. Crazy, right? I know. So what you're seeing here is I'm actually making a character of what I think the guy would look like if he's on display. So what you're seeing, I imagine, like in this time period, Grunkle Stan, after the guy passes out, he's on a time limit, right? So he has 4 hours before his next tour. People come to the Mystery Shack. Probably the local authorities try to find the guy. So really quick, he has to throw together this ridiculously cheap costume to put the guy on display. So I had a little bit of method to my madness where I wanted this to be somewhat like a frog type of a thing, or like a beast or something you would find in the woods, like an ogre or something. Then as I keep going on, he starts to look like a knockoff mascot for like a minor league baseball team, which I'm also cool with. Later on in the video, you're gonna see, I don't know if I really like how it went. Let me say this better. I am happy with how the character came out, but I will state he does look like the love child of Elmo, Sweetums, or Animal from the Muppets. And I'm okay with that, actually. I had fun with it, but right here we're doing some detailing on the head. I do minimal detailing on this piece, as you'll see moving forward, outside of putting the hands on and other things. I wanted this to go in Grunkle Stan's philosophy of quote-unquote cheap but effective. So he has a shirt. The legs are going to be the pants for this mascot thing that you see. And outside of that, I really did do a lot of detailing because I'm going to do some mixed media here with some yarn and fur with Fabritech later on. I'll get to that here later on in the video, but I wanted this to come off as, again, Grunkle Stan is in a rush. There's, people are going to come the next day. I need to get this guy the case quick before, number one, he wakes up and people start looking for him. So he's missing one of his shoes. He has the other fin on. So that's kind of where the avenue went. I think I did okay, but I'm sure there's other places that I could have did better. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you think that I was in a good ballpark with this. Also, on Gravity Falls in general, for the fans that are out there, what do you guys think of the show? I know I missed the show terribly. I wish they would do some form of a tie-in film, something on Disney Plus. I mean, they gave us a really, really bad Home Alone movie that could at least apologize and give us another Gravity Falls. Am I right? All that said, though, you're going to see me testing out the box. Here it is right here. I just want to make sure that number one, the hands aren't going to smash into the box and things are out of place. As you can see, ding to the dome, it works. And I also made these little things too. I'll go into more detail, but they're somewhat crucial. But it's time to paint now, guys. And I will say the painting for this was super simple. These are all the paints I used this week. Again, Apple Barrel. I don't know why I keep saying barrel. Apple Barrel are the paints that I use. And I used Fabri-Tac this week. And some yarn. Now I was going to use gray. And then I switched it to red. Now, with the red yarn, I wanted it to be somewhat standoutish. Standoutish, that's not even a word. You guys know what I'm trying to say. This is what I was stating earlier. I'm happy with how this piece turned out. But if I had a different color at my disposal at the time, I probably would have chosen it instead of the red, because it does start to come out a little too similar to some well-known characters that I'm not going to state for potential copyright reasons outside of the names already stated. I had gray, as you saw in the shot. I had some black, and I had red. I would have dyed my own, which I've done in the past with acrylic paint, hot water, salt, and Mod Podge, but that does take about 12 hours for it to sit, for the color to get in. Also another 4 hours for it to dry. So I used what I had at my disposal. There's different ways that you can have the yarn to look fur-like. As you can see in my video, I'm taking a brush and just pulling some out. There's also, with the yarn that I use, there's a string that connects everything. You can pull as well, and it makes it a little bit more fuzzier. I had a piece of plastic that I had left over from my box, so I'm painting it white with the gesso, and I'm going to make it the sign of the piece that's going to glue right to the front of it. And the next thing that you're going to see me do it here after I paint the sign is I'm going to get into the actual painting of the sculpture. So I'm painting the skin color first, because skin, there really wasn't much skin for me to paint, just the arms, hands, 1 foot, and the neck. So I'm doing that, as you can see. And then from here, I'm going to paint the actual t-shirt just the plain white. Actually, no, let me back up. I do some outlining with the red on this first. And I just wanted it to be a little bit of detail, but not, again, going overboard. I wanted the fur to be what draws you in versus the actual painting. So I'm painting this t-shirt with the white gesso. It did take about 3 coats before the white started to, be white. That doesn't sound like a very PG phrase, but you guys know what I mean. So I'm now painting the helmet of this guy. And the one thing I will say when it comes to the helmet and the legs, this color, which is a mixture of the yellow, the reddish color I had and black, you're not going to actually see a lot of it. But the reason I'm painting it is I didn't want there to be any form of clay color that you see through the yarn I'm going to be gluing to it. So I did want to put that on there just in case. So these are the things I made earlier. So Grunkle Stan, he's a jerk, but he has some manners. So he has a little food dish. So this is for food. And then this one you see is going to say not for food with quotations. Let your mind travel wherever you feel it needs to travel with that. Alright, so now we're going to dingy up this white t-shirt. So all them coats of white that I put on to have it stand out, I destroyed all of that and put some watered down brown on it. Also, if you see the back of the helmet, this is on purpose. I let the clay I kind of ripped it off as I was detailing it. I wanted this to, again, be cheap but effective. And one thing I also wanted to do is the tree that's on Dipper's hat, I wanted to paint this on the shirt. So I highly doubt that the guy had this shirt on when he showed up, but it possibly was forced onto him by Grunkle Stan or Seuss whenever they were getting him in the case. They probably disposed of all his clothing, Probably stole his wallet, other things. So now what you're seeing is me doing the sign, the cheapskate. And we're actually nearing the end of this already, guys. This was a quick one this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it though. And after this is the part that actually did take the longest, is me applying the fur. So this is Fabri-Tac. You can get it at any local Walmart, Michaels, Joann Fabrics. It is the best adhesive to put fur, yarn, anything on clay. Now it is tacky, but I do find if you don't want this to get under your fingers, if you have like a wooden dowel, a stick, anything that is not, I would say, metal, it can help alleviate a lot of the tackiness of it getting stuck on your fingers. It basically is glue, so there is a lot of tackiness to it. I mean, the name is Fabri-Tac, so there's got to be a little bit there. But with this, it is the best adhesive to put yarn, fur on the clay. I did get this recommendation on a channel that I follow, Ace of Clay. He used this on a few pieces years ago, and recently I am a fan of it. This is the part I was speaking of. So before I did the helmet, I was cool with the legs. When I put this on the helmet, whatever you want to call it, the headpiece, I am getting massive Elmo love child vibes from this, but it's alright. So I'm drilling some holes into this because the guy does need to breathe. This was a dumb idea, but thankfully it worked. I didn't have any issues like I normally have. And we're gonna glue his food dish, the not for food dish, to the piece. One more time, we're gonna put the cheapskate sign on. And say it with me, y'all. Lights, camera, smaction. This one, I will say, I had a lot of fun with. I know I said last week Bill Cipher was fun, but I do like to do original pieces. But I also had fun recreating the character last week. And this one to me felt like the perfect meshing of both sides of it. I just loved how this came out. I hope you guys like it too. I know this was a little bit unconventional, so I hope you guys like it. If you do like it, feel free to, again, hit the like icon, subscribe, and make sure your bell notifications are set. Before I let you guys go, here is the teaser for next week. Let me know what you guys think. What are you guys thinking? We're going out, way out my comfort zone next week. But that's next week. Enjoy this week, guys. We'll see you next time.